Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today's card is a faux step card. So you could call it a center step if it was in the middle and a side step if it's on the side. So I guess it's kind of offset here, so it's a side step. But it is faux because you're kind of cheating and not having to cut into your paper and score and fold. You can just add a piece onto it. So I love it because of that. So I'm using this beautiful friendly foliage that's in the online exclusives. I have just had so much fun playing around with this. It has your dies with it and your stamps and your handy dandy new packaging. So thin. I packed up all my packaging to travel and I couldn't believe how much less bulky it was. What I've done with my stamps, I have taken them when I get them. They come with the heavier acetate and a thinner piece of acetate. I take the thinner piece off, I stamp the whole image, and I stamp it on the inside of my stamp case. Then I take the thin one and this one I taped down, but then I realized maybe it would be not acid free. So the next couple I put a piece of tear and tape underneath the bottom of the acetate. And then when I go to put my stamps back, I can just put them down on here with the way it would stamp there, then the flat side on top, and I can easily put it down and see I've got them all in place. So that's my little trick. I did see that from Sherry Stokovich. Sherry's cards. So I did see her idea there and I love it. So here we are going to, I also wanted to note too, if you would like this new packaging, a few demo friends, we were on a Zoom the other day, and a lot of them are storing their dies, which are great because the picture's on the front now. I do love that you can see the picture. They're storing them in the same container. So look at that. You can have it all stored in one envelope. The only thing with my way my brain works is if I had these dies and there were layering circles in it, I probably would keep them separate just for that reason, because I would probably be using with other stamp sets. But this way I think is a perfect way. They both fit, and then you have an extra envelope that you don't have to purchase if you want to use it for something else. So that's actually a really good idea I got from a friend over the week. So let me put this back in here. We're going to be using the dies. I also, when I do my stamp, well, actually it doesn't matter now because we have the packaging this way. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in. There's a little slit here. So you just easily slid it in. You don't have to go in and out of the two pieces. So we're going to be using the friendly foliage on this card, and let me show you how we're going to score that. You can get 2 cards out of a piece of 8.5 by 11. Now you'll notice I'm using strawberry slush on this one. This one I used Lost Lagoon, but I'm going to use strawberry slush on here. When you go to score it, if you score with the 8.5 inch side at the top of your trimmer and score it at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and 5 1/2. 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2. Why did I pick 1 1/4 for my step? Because we all have those 1 inch strips laying around, and it makes it perfect to fill into this 1/4, 1/4 sections. And then when you fold it, it will fit into a A2 size card because it's going to be 4 1/4 this way and 5 1/2 this way. So once you do this, if you turn your paper, and I'm using my old guillotine cutter that I always use, you will just get 2 cards out of that. Okay, how many of you still use your guillotine? It is, it's a good one. Okay, so we're going to do this folding here. You're just gonna fold on that 5 1/2 and then fold up and over. So you've got like that step right there that you're gonna be working with. Now I went ahead and used the Bloom Floral Impressions. It was the DSP that went with the Bloom Impressions dies and stamp set. And it had this pretty floral on this side, but I found that I've used the strawberry slush pattern on more than this side here. Now I'm just going to put that on this bottom step here, and it's 5 1/4 width and 1 inch tall. And then we're just going to have that glued on there. And then we're gonna do some stamping as well. And I put this on here just so I knew where you don't have to stamp here, but we're gonna stamp on these two pieces here. On this one, I just left it blank, but I think it would be pretty to be stamped on the sides here. So we're gonna use this little flower, it's not a flower, it's a leaf. We're gonna use this leaf and just scatter it on these two 3-inch sections, okay? So we're just gonna scatter some of these to just give a design pattern on the back of this card here. And of course, you know, whenever you're trying to be random, it's so hard to be random. So, and go a little bit off. And then, ooh, okay, that's definitely where we're gonna cover up that part. So, and I'm gonna put my card over here, so really, I'm only worried about that part. Now, of course, if I made my boo-boo over here, you know I would be making that where I was gonna fold my card, where I would cover. Let me see here. Like I said, when you try to be random, it's hard to do it. I love this little leaf. There's one that's tall that has like a longer stem on it too in that stamp set. In the stamp set. Random. Oop. I'm gonna see if I can get to where I can fix that right there. Oh, thank you, Stampin' Jesus. You helped me once again. Okay, now this is gonna be folded back this way. So I am going to put, I think I'm gonna stamp right across the fold. Nice and firm. Ah, getting a little cocky here. Ah, wow. The Lord has been with me today. There we go. I can go over the fold since I thought, okay, now this part I don't really have to do as much. Oop. Fix that. Ugh, messed that up. Yucky. Oh well. That's where I'll say this is my sample, right? I could have just had this all stamped, right? Okay, let's get a little bit faster here. Remember, you're going to be covering up that bottom part as well. Be careful if you get any ink. I noticed because I'm trying to go fast, I'm getting some ink on my block. So that's going to be covered up with that piece here. So don't worry about that because we're going to cover that up. So you can see I have the pattern all over the front and the back. And then I just realized right now that my piece that I need to put on there is, I forgot to cut it. So that piece that goes across, it's going to be 8.5. Let me see if I can use this paper. I messed up here. You have to score it at 4 1/4. Nope, I can't use this piece here. I made a mistake and scored it the wrong way. So you need, go ahead and cut it at 4 1/4. Right? No, scored at 4. Oh no, scored at 4 1/4. Let's do that. Scoring. Okay, trimmer, trimmer, trimmer. That piece has to be scored at 4 1/4. 4 1/4. scored with my light gray. And then it's 3 inches wide. 3 inches. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. And that's the piece that makes your focal point there. And it's going to go on here. I'm just going to check and make sure I can cover up my, oh yeah, my boo-boo's totally covered up there. I might actually even, I might pull this the whole way over because of, I don't like the way that looks. So I might really be steppy and do that. So, but that means I need to put a couple here. Don't do that because then you have the fold. There we go. Oh. Okay, so we are going to put this, I'm going to step it the whole way over to the edge when I make this one, okay? Maybe not to the edge, maybe maybe I'll show a little bit over there. Does that cover up the boo-boo? No, maybe I should do it over to the side. Or maybe I should just not care about it. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so to build this up, remember this was 8.5 by 3, and I scored it 4 1/4. You're gonna put the pretty DSP that is 2 3/4, 2 3/4 by 4. Now this is one time. I'm going to cut the DSP. At class, sometimes I'll cut this to match this and somebody will want to use this, but that looks horrendous. So I don't think that'll happen. There we go. That is our step that's going to be going on here. Why don't we just put it on? You'll want to put the glue on the card where you know it's going, because then you won't risk getting it past that 1 1/4 section. Okay, and step it back. And this one, you can just put it in the lower inch or so. It doesn't really matter how far, but you just want to keep it down towards the bottom. And just hold that for a minute to get it adhered. Okay, now you can see how pretty that step is going to work. Now, I stamped with the pretty floral that has the rectangle in it, and I'm going to show you how you're going to cut it out. On some other cards I did, you have this outline, and you can actually just die cut this beautiful image like that. Okay, so pretty. But if you want to, and you want to get this with the openness here, that you can put something behind it, vellum would look pretty, another coordinating DSP. This goes inside and you cut it at the same time. And all you have to do is line up this die around the certain leaves that are in there. And I found it useful when I was doing this to kind of look at the rectangle line there that's stamped and try to get the same amount on the top, bottom, and the 2 sides, and then it should come out. I've cut about 7 or 8 of these, and they've pretty much come out really nice. So I think it's pretty good. And so that is going to go on the front of our card. But before we do that, I want to also show you there are these cute little leaves that are in there. So I'm going to be tucking them back inside the here. So we're going to put some glue on here. Put it here on that edge. So it's down right really nice on those corners. And just to show you this card here, what it looks like, sit it down there for you so you can see it. It's I'm gonna pop in some of the, but before I totally glue it down, I want to keep it inside the outline of the card. But before I really get it down there, I'm going to tuck in these little white leaves. And I don't want the bottom to poke out, so I'm just going to do that. And then I put one up here. Lift that up before it's totally glued. And now I can commit to the glue. Just hold that down till it's adhered nicely. And then you might put just a tad on there. Okay, so you've got that lacy flower leaves. I keep calling them flowers, they're leaves. Now, I'm going to use the sentiment in this stamp set. I love all these sentiments. Here for you always, wishing you all the best, sending love, get well soon. Everybody's always asking for those. Thinking of you, which is a standard one that can be anything. Remember, any card with thinking of you could be any card. You could congratulate somebody, you could birthday somebody, you could get well somebody, you could sympathize with somebody, thinking of you. So I'm going to use the new banner punch that we have from Banner Sayings, and I'm going to use the little, well, it's a pretty nice sized banner that has pennant ends on both sides, and I'm going to use the Sending Love. Now, I just thought of this as I was stamping the Sending Love, that what would have been really super cute is to have put little hearts, which I am going to go and look to see if I have some little punched or die cut hearts to put on here. I think they would look adorable, like have a couple little, it could be white hearts or pink hearts. And this could be a Valentine. So there you've got Sending Love. Guess what? You don't put the you don't put the dimensional over on the end of the pennant. It's only on the card. I had one over here and it would have stuck to the card, but we don't want it to. But we also don't want it bent. Okay, so Sending Love. And then I used a little strawberry slush bow from our strawberry slush. I assume these are on the last chance list because we always retire whatever is in the catalog for our in colors. But of course, this in color is going to be carrying over into the new catalog. So I always buy extra of the embellishments because I know that they're carrying over and I can still use them because the colors will still be around. So I would suggest taking a look at your stamping stash and see if you have some cute hearts, because I think hearts would look really cute on this foliage. And then I'm just going to use some of our trusty rhinestones. Which way is that rhinestone going? Just to scatter a little bit on the card. 1, 2, and maybe one up here. A third one up here. There we go. On this card, I used our ribbon that has the white ribbon that had the silver on it, so the silver one here. And here, with our strawberry slush, it still matches very pretty. So now on the back is where we want to put our message, and our message is going to have one of those little leaves stamped on it. And like I said, I think I'm going to make this into a Valentine. So I'm going to, I know the Valentine would look really cute on there. So I'm going to get out a Valentine sentiment. Maybe I will put that on the pictures. You know, underneath the YouTube description, it says follow my blog. Visit my blog here. Right after, underneath the YouTube video, there's descriptions that has the details of the online store, links to my blog. There you'll find additional photos and any other little tips and tricks that are better to actually read or see than just hearing me talk about them. So I think I may put a Valentine's sentiment on here because you're looking there and you're sending love. Happy Valentine's Day. Wouldn't that be cute? So super cute faux step card. You could have moved this over to the center as well, and then it would have been a center step card, but this one I just made as a side step card. And isn't that adorable? So cute. You can use up your little scraps of DSP you have left over, because you only need a 2 3/4 by 4 here and a 1 inch by 5 1/4 there. So thanks for buzzing by, friends. Oh, and don't forget, I will be doing a product share with the new ribbons, embellishments, and designer series paper from the January online exclusives and the new mini catalog that's coming out from January to April. So don't forget that I will be posting that here soon. Probably this week it will be posted by, I would imagine, maybe Friday. So just if you've gotten my shares before, most people are, well, I don't want to say most people, nobody's complained, let's put it that way. A lot of people have emailed me and thanked me for how precise they are, and that they are in clear cellophane and they have the name on it and the colors, and they like the way they're packaged. So I've gotten many nice compliments on them and never a bad review. So that's good. So if you would like to participate in those, just keep your eye on my blog. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.